The sun, moon, and earth, after I had paper mache'd them, they looked really bumpy and weird. I kind of used that bumpiness for the sun, and the moon just looks like this beat up rock. The earth was fun to paint. I tried to draw an equator and it was so hard. Kind of hard to picture where the equator is when it's situated like this. With it being painted and colored, I like it a lot better because this colored calendar ring is now a season calendar. So I could be like, oh look, we just started winter. And look, winter's almost over, almost spring. Because I painted it, it may have caused some problems with it. For example, do you see it's kind of bubbling up even though I glued it down? Let me show you the modification I made. I added the negative piece. I cut it down, I sanded it, I glued it in. We have another little piece to get some pressure fit on that dowel that allows this to sit a little higher. Plus you don't get this like scraping. There was this like that sound every time you moved it. One of the downsides to this Orrery is that there's a little bit of play. It could be not as accurate as I would like. I'm moving the moon, but the day is not moving. Another downside, which is fine now that I think about it, is that the Earth doesn't rotate. You have to manually rotate the Earth to represent the seasons. And it's actually not too hard once you get the hang of it. Here's the North Pole, here's the South Pole. If we are in winter, we want the North Pole to be pointing away from the sun. Now we skip forward to spring. And when you get to spring, put 2 fingers around the Earth. I could just use this blue marker to make sure I'm doing 90. And then this is what I do. See? 90 degrees. And now this shows how Earth is positioned during spring. Let's skip forward to summer. Same thing. Do a counterclockwise 90-degree angle. Boop. And what I should see in summer, I should see that the North Pole is now pointed towards the sun. The northern hemisphere is getting most direct light from the sun. Everything moves counterclockwise because the planets revolve counterclockwise around the sun. So that's why the numbers, instead of going this way, go this way from 1 to 5, 10, 15, 20. When you're rotating everything, make sure you go counterclockwise, not clockwise. Now that I talked about everything I like about the Orrery, let me show you some places you can place the Orrery. One place you could place your Orrery is in front of the fireplace. I would place it here, but honestly, I don't think I would use it as much over here. It could be on a side table next to a couch, but this is where I'm gonna place it and where I think most people would think to place it, which is on the wall. There we go. There it is. If you're wondering what I use to hang it up, it's these little curtain things that I've kept forever. They're really long. I basically just hook it right there. These can like push in and be a bit more secure. There we go. See? If you decide to put it on the wall, there's some big downsides. Even though the Orrery says easy hanging mechanics, in which this was easy to hang, you may not want to do it. And the reason why is because I found for me that the Orrery doesn't like to be hung in a particular way. You basically want to keep the Earth and Moon within 30 degrees, maybe 45 if you want to push it up here. Right now, my Orrery looks fine, but if I start moving it to like this, do you see that? It just fell. See, it just fell again. If you notice here, now it's not moving at all. And let me explain. You know, I took that big time-lapse video where I had it go all the way around. And I think all that stress on this middle gear caused the glue to fail inside. Why did the glue fail inside? I think it's mostly because of these instructions. I will blame the instructions. Notice how in step 13, it says glue the axle to the gear. So I put a lot of glue on this gear because it said glue the gear to the axle. Skip forward to step 17, we have the same axle. There's little drop of glue, and I remember thinking, just put glue in that hole, then glue the washer to the gear. I just didn't really think of putting too much glue. It's very important because these 2 gears, they have to be glued very strongly to that center axle to work in synchrony because they move at the same time. So what we have here is the bigger center gear can move the moon, but it's no longer moving the date. This will actually be my second attempt fixing it. It kind of worked when I threw a bunch of wood glue inside there and it failed. So I'm gonna try hot glue. We'll see how that works. That's how it looks like with a lot of hot glue. If I move the center gear, notice how the middle gear is now moving. Okay, let's test it out. Moving. Are you kidding me? I got the gear off. So I'm gonna redo that step number 17. Get a ton of glue on that axle. Okay, look at all that glue. I'm gonna put that washer on top. And there. Bad news. Kinda doesn't work. Moving the center gear, nothing happening to the middle gear. Kinda works sometimes, but then sometimes it doesn't. And I don't want sometimes. I want all the time working. Here is my permanent solution fix. I took my step drill bit, I drilled a hole through that tiny hole there to the very end, which is 1/2 inch in diameter. So that gear's in there. Here's an extra piece that's somewhat small, and you put it right here. Now this 1/2 inch hole will fit over that spacer. Then you take the gear, put it over the dowel, but to make sure they're connected, I'm gonna wood glue the spacer to that gear down there, this big center gear, and to make sure it's really secure, I'm gonna take these furniture nails and try to get it right, like there. It's really close to the dowel. This should ensure that this gear to that gear is actually connected, rather than just wood glued to an axle. It's going pretty well, but I got the nails really close to that dowel and I figure out a way to hammer it in. You take a file, put this there, and then hammer that part in. Yeah, look how easy that is. Woohoo! They are now physically connected. There's no way this should fail now. I've been trying to figure that out forever. It was like a puzzle that needed to be solved. I put everything back together. I am so, so happy because now the lunar calendar seems pretty accurate. All the gears are moving. There are no skipped gears. It is so exciting because I've been struggling. I've been struggling with this thing. Anyways, it's doing what I wanted to do. Let me just give you an example. Here's a full moon calendar. So the next full moon is October 20th. So let's move down to October 20th. And boom, full moon. See? Full moon right there. The next full moon is November 19th. That's not bad. A little off, but as I said, there's a little bit of play, so it's actually still accurate. Let's go to December 19th, which is the next full moon. And see, there's the next full moon. I did go all the way around. The gears didn't skip. It worked well. In fact, I went all the way to September 2022, and I wanted to see if I was actually at next year's full moon, and it was accurate to next year, which is pretty awesome. Here are my tips if you want to hang this on the wall. Realize that the wood glue might fail on that axle and half of it may just work, so you might want to try that modification I did, in which I drilled a hole, I put some nails in, and solidly connected those two gears. Tip number 2, there's still some stress on the gears. The moon and earth part of the Orrery does not like to be in this area, nor does it like to be in this area. It still kind of falls and doesn't stay still. So this is how you should set it up. Imagine there's an X, right? And always keep the season you're in at the bottom of that X. So once I reach the next season, which is winter, I'm just gonna move this whole Orrery clockwise. So winter, or the blue part, is at the bottom. And therefore, the moon and earth will remain in this top section where it likes to be. I'll include some notes in the description of where I ran into problems in case I didn't remember to put in the video. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye.
At school. What?
How do you like it, Aveline? Oh, God. Aveline's here. Are you excited?
Yep.
Yep, I got... What the heck?
Step 7, moon. And here I am. Oh. Step 13, give up. Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, there's 7?
Oh dear.
Step 20, 20, 20, moon to breathe. Step 20 to breathe. bum bum beep beep.